Good morning, Max. How are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you, Julien? How is Paris? How's the evening?
I'm doing great. I got a very nice yet complex story in the mailbag for today. And it came in French, so it's going to be live translation again.
Nice.
That's again from my friend Cedric, who again, if you have missed the previous episode, is working in the CX world. So anything that's not CX friendly tends to, be on his nerves.
Oh, okay. So that was going to be my
And
question. When you said good story, did you mean meaty or did you mean positive? Sounds like the former, not the latter.
definitely not positive. So that's a car story.
Mm.
So he used to have a car, 10 years old car, not that many kilometers, 50,000, which is pretty low for 10 years. And that car was working beautifully. But he reached a point in his life where the car was just too small for his new lifestyle after he moved to a different place. So he wanted to move to a larger car and replace that very well working car. So he started looking into mini SUVs and figure out which one he would like to buy. And then he decided to go for a French car. So he goes to the local vendor and then he asked to get the various offers. And, being in CX, you tend to think more about the service than actually the product, and therefore he goes for leasing, car rental for the long run, because you never know. Maybe 5 years from now, we could all go fully electric and give up gas altogether, right? So he decided to do that. He gets into the vendor's place, and then the salesperson look at the car, the existing car, in order to take it back to get a discount on getting the new one. And she looked at the car and she said, "Well, the car is more than 10 years old." And she started with a very typical French "oh la la." I don't know if that's you guys realize this in the US. That's something we say quite a bit. "Oh la la, we're not gonna get much from that car. Maybe 1.5K at best." So she takes a few pictures. She's very efficient about this, and very quickly, within 15 minutes, she gets an estimate of the car. And now the car is considered to be 3,800 euros, which is between 3 and 4 times more than her personal estimation of what it was worth. So she's pretty surprised. And then she said, and he responds, "Well, don't be surprised. My previous car was German, so it's meant to be good quality." And she responded, "Well, forget about German cars. French cars are very reliable." She's selling French cars quite obviously.
Yeah, he kind of called her baby ugly.
So yeah, maybe. So he leaves the place and he has his brand new car. 1 month goes by and the car is about to break down on the highway, which I can very much relate to because that was one of my story of season 1. So he goes back to the vendor and she says, "Well, you're really unlucky. That's super, super rare. There is a problem with," I wouldn't know how to translate the technical bits and pieces inside the car, but there is a problem that should never happen. We're going to change it right away. A month later, guess what? Same thing happens. So he goes back again, and then the salesman starts saying, "Oh, you're really not," meaning to say really not lucky. And then he stopped her or him, I don't quite know, in the middle of the sentence, say, "Look at my file. That's the second time in 2 months. Don't tell me that's super rare. Apparently that's happening quite often with you guys." So I give a big smile to the sales lady and then tell her, "Well, you see, it looks like French quality is not quite there yet, finally." She looks a little bit embarrassed, but no other reaction. 2 months later, same thing again, third time in 4 months. And at that point, I start thinking, we probably should do something more serious about it. So I called the customer service of that specific French brand, and then I explained that I'm very surprised. I took a brand new car. I've had 3 major issues in less than 4 months. On top of that, it so happened that I misjudged the number of kilometers I would be using. You know, when you go with leasing, you need to identify the number of kilometers per year and all of that. And I will probably drive more than I was supposed to before the end of the warranty. And therefore, I would like to upsell a little bit and get even if it's a more expensive contract, obviously, but at least being able to cover the entirety of the kilometers I'm going to have. The advisor on the phone tells me, I don't remember the exact word he said, but roughly he was saying, our brand knows how to reward loyalty, customers' loyalty. So if you have been working with us, we'll definitely have a nice gesture at the end of your contract. I don't remember all the details of what was being said, but I wanted to really make sure that that he get my point right. Basically, I was not looking for a nice gesture. I was looking for feeling reassured, even if it means I need to pay more, that I could upgrade my package immediately so that I don't have a surprise, whether good or bad, at the end of the contract. So when I ask, are you sure we can't do anything right now? I'm ready to pay more if it's what it takes. The answer on the phone was, no, I am sorry, there is nothing we can do. Then she repeats exactly the same sentence she said just before, which does really feel like she's reading straight from a script. So now we're in a situation where I have a brand new car that broke down 3 times in 4 months just after buying it. I'm asking to become a more loyal customer. I'm ready to pay more. I want to upgrade. And the only answer that I get is, let's wait for the end of your contract. We'll review at the time. Exactly at the point where I could be negotiating with a new constructor. Basically, when you reach the end of your contract, yes, maybe they could do a gesture, but that's the worst time to do this because you're not making me loyal at this point, and I could actually be negotiating with another vendor by the time I reach the end of my contract. So I hope my translation was close enough to the reality. Please, Cedric, jump in the conversation if you feel I did not portray
You're right.
the
There's a
truth
lot
properly.
to unpack and a
what
lot
do you
of
think
pain.
of that story?
Where do you start? I guess the first thing is 3 breakdowns in 4 months in a brand new car. That's, in the US, we have something called lemon laws. I don't know where it came from, but bad cars are called lemons in the United States. And that sounds like something that would qualify for, what, I just want to wash my hands of this whole thing and go away. He must, I guess one of the most striking things is he must love that car. If after that he's turning around and saying, I want to pay more for my lease. Now, fair enough. I love his approach of, hey, I've had a lot of trouble. What can we do? What can you do to make me feel better about that? And oh, by the way, I'll give you a little more money because I realized I need to. And just to have the company respond with, oh, don't worry about it. We'll take care of you. There's going to be no record of that when the time to be taken care of comes. And given he's dealing with a company that told him this was a freak problem that will never happen, that happened 3 times, there's no credibility there. At that point, I'm thinking, how do I put a brick on the accelerator, run it off a cliff, and say, oh gosh, I guess I'm out of this contract. There's nothing good here. I don't know I guess if it's real that we'll take care of you and you can go over on your mileage, but if that's it, say, and this is documented here this way or something like that, because otherwise, especially if she read that off the script, there's just there's no accountability on that at all.
No commitment, right? So, actually, to your first point, maybe I'm wrong. Actually, again, Cedric, please jump in the conversation and give us your thoughts. I feel that might be the law of gambling.
True.
You know, once you've been putting too many coins in the machine, you can't give up anymore. You've invested too much of your time and efforts into this, and it's so hard to give it up. So I don't know if he loves the car, maybe he does, or if it's just I've been there 3 times already. It must be the end of it. I probably reached the tipping
also,
point where now everything
Stockholm syndrome,
is gonna be perfect. Maybe there's some of
where
that,
people who are
or maybe he
kidnapped
does love
become
the car.
deeply enamored of their kidnappers.
It could be that. It could very well be that. But in any case, apparently he wants to stick with the car. Had 3 problems, and I guess there is also something around the promises being made, right? You come the first time, you could have died on the highway, and they're telling you that's super rare. It never ever happens.
This is
Then it
it.
happens again and again. But they probably make all the beautiful promises saying, "Oh, we've identified the exact problem. We know what it is. We've fixed it." Probably after the 3rd time, it's getting more difficult to swallow it. I'm guessing, but I could understand that the first 2 times, again, the same thing, the exact same thing happened to me. I could have died in the car, and in the end, I still have the same car 5 years later. So I guess I probably have the same Stockholm syndrome then. So there are really 2 things in that story. There is the quality and the quality of the car and the bullshit around the service that comes with it. And then there is a second part around, I am ready to be a loyal customer. I'm going to commit. I'm going to pay more. And the answer is, hold on. Let me read from my script and tell you exactly the same thing I told you again, which is, I don't care. I have a script to follow, which is terrible from a experience perspective, but even from a business perspective. You got a customer with bills, notes in his hand, ready to hand it out, and you're just saying, sorry, I don't want your money. Let's figure it out in a year time. How stupid is
That
that?
even happens. I mean, that is it. Here's money on the table, and we are so hidebound with our processes that we're not going to take it. And
Do you think that's a process issue or a money issue? Because what happens is, at the end of the lease, if you have used more kilometers than you were supposed to, each additional kilometer comes with a super extra price. And is it possibly because there is more money to make with him not respecting the contract than actually upgrading him? Or is it really that's a process issue and I'm going to stick to my script?
Hey, maybe it is just it's just downright evil, right? No, I know you're calling to give us more money, and we're not going to take that though, because we're banking on, we're going to hit you with a massive penalty at the end. Boy, you want to talk about guaranteeing. I don't care how strong your Stockholm syndrome is, guaranteeing he's never going to buy another car from you. A, obviously there's a quality problem. B, yeah, if that's where that's coming, I was kind of living in a happy world where it was coming from a process problem. But yeah, you're right. It could just be evil. And that's the only word I would use for that. That's just terrible.
There are probably a few things that they could have done differently. I mean, the first part of the story, first, don't start being cocky and saying how great your cars are if you know there's going to be problems. Maybe you don't know. Maybe that was really rare the first time, but it doesn't sound that way when he has to come back 3 times. Second, there is something about, if you really want to do a nice gesture, maybe you do it from the second time he comes in. Can you just offer to change the car altogether and send this one back to factory for a complete checkup? Or can you do a gesture and reduce the contract cost, or, add something on top? I mean, if within 2 months I come 2 times, within 4 months I come 3 times, there's probably something more than beautiful promises you could do for me as a customer. And to the second part of the story, if really you got that script and there is nothing you can do, back to your comment, can you at least take the responsibility of dropping notes and, making sure that, all right, I put this in your file. There, at the time of renegotiation, we're going to make sure we take this into account. We're not going to charge you for it. But do something about it. Don't make empty promises that are just disappearing in the air.
Pride. That's even country pride, right? This is a French car in France as opposed to a German car. So that, I give him a pass on that. A salesperson, they better have a little bluster for their stuff. That one doesn't bother me at all, honestly. Maybe certainly after it died the second time, she's probably hiding behind a chair, but that had a bad consequence. But I think that came from a place I kind of respect, actually. So I'm okay with that one. Isn't there, when your car breaks down 3 times in 4 months, I thought you were going to say he was calling the contact center to say, what are you going to do for me? Nobody at the dealership did anything for me. I'm really angry. What are you going to do? I deserve something now. And on one level, that wouldn't have been a bad thing. If he had called and said, hey, what he said, I'm going to pay more because I'm going to do more miles. Imagine at that point, instead of saying, oh, we'll take care of you, from a script, it was, let me document this. We will give you credit for a 12,000 a year instead of a 10,000. What a perfect answer. It's not going to, 6 months to a year later, I'm going to forget all those breakdowns. Well, I'm never going to completely forget them, but I'm going to, the breakdowns will be out and I'll have gotten a good deal on it. What a simple answer to something that was just mishandled every step of the way.
And I think, Cedric being who he is, he has been working in contact center for so many years. He knows the pain of being an agent. He knows how tough the job is. Yeah. So I guess that's probably why he's not calling and yelling, saying,
fair enough.
I demand to have something in return for my bad experience. Because he knows the agent has nothing to do with this.
For having some pride. I give him credit for being a good guy. That's all fair. But he shouldn't have to be. This is, this is a huge fail of a story, and Cedric, I feel sorry for you. I hope your next experience somewhere gets you some karmic reprisal because you deserve it. That would be good. Sounds like
exactly.
you've had yours for 5 years, so it's possible.
You can leave us a comment telling us that everything is fine now and the car is driving properly and no issue. It's possible. It does happen, even to me. All right. Well, thank you so much, Max, to help me unpack the story. Thanks a lot, Cedric, for sharing it with us.
It'll be my turn.
Please keep them coming. We still need more stories.
Thanks, Julien. Take care.
And Max.